yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon and welcome to to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Gilbert is on his way in. He had a little delay, but we're ready to kick it off. We're going to kick it off as usual with a little what's going on in our world. So this has been a relaxing week for me, thank God, because I was exhausted after all of my youth entrepreneurial programs and so forth. So just took out some time for myself. A little time anyway, not a whole lot. And now we're going to get back. We're going to start back up with our series that we started last week, which we are pretty excited about. So hey, Pat, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you as well. We're starting a series to talk about the global Black economy. And Gilbert and I kind of, went over last week what that would look like if we all came together and with the entire African diaspora to work together and to connect and unite and be able to build successful businesses and futures for our young people, for our children, for our families, for ourselves. And so today we're going to try to get into the nuts and bolts about that. This is probably going to be an ongoing series for a while based upon what is going on in our world, everyone's world here in America. I think we've been pretty limited with our offerings, mainly because we've stayed safe right here in our backyard. So I think it's time to move out of our backyard and venture out into the world, because it's a very big world out there, and we haven't even tapped into not even a tenth of it. And so that's what we're going to be talking about when Gilbert gets on. Our topic today is the Caribbean, the gateway to global Black economy, and why the Caribbean is the world's next great trade hub. And since it's so close to us, really makes sense, right? We truly want to move out and get to the entire diaspora on African continent, but we first gonna take some phases to get there. And it might not be so scary or frightening to everyone if we go to places that we actually have visited on our own for vacations and so forth. But there are economies in those countries, and so that's what we're going to talk about. So again, I am Crystal Mitchell, and co-host, business coach, business strategist, financial strategist for the small business community. I work with micro startups, with growth businesses, helping them to be able to establish solid foundations for their business. In my space, it's really about the financial foundations, making sure everyone has all their I's dotted, all their T's crossed, all their structures in place. So when an opportunity does present itself, they don't find themselves having to turn something down, mainly because they don't have what is necessary at the time. And the way the world works and the way business works is really not. If an opportunity presents itself to you, they don't have time enough for you to actually try to get it together. So you want to be together already. So being prepared and prepping for preparation for preparedness. And so whenever that opportunity presents, you're ready. You have everything that you need. Your business is solid, and you can move forward. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Pat, how was your week? You had a great week this week and past weekend, since we haven't seen you since Friday. I hope so. So have you had given any idea, and anyone that's going to be watching, any thoughts to what it would take in order to do business outside the United States? In some cases, some of us have not even done business outside of the state that we live in. And so again, missed opportunities that are out there. We're not, as I tell my young people when I'm teaching them how to start a business. Business does not have to necessarily be right there in your neighborhood. When you're identifying who your customers are, you're just looking at who's more likely to buy from you, not necessarily who's more likely to buy from you that's next door to you. It's really about who actually, who's, um, what problems you're solving and where those customers are. And your job is to create effective marketing plans that will help you get to those people. So and with the internet and the way we're all globally connected, there should be no hindrances for you to be able to sell your business, your products and services outside of the country. Uh, Pat is all in for the global. And to bring this into perspective, so if anyone has purchased from Timu or Sheen or um, stuff pop up in your feed all the time from different countries, from Italy, you're already spending your money. You're already a consumer outside of your country. You just have not attracted those customers from outside of the country to buy from you. But if the same way you can access Timu on your app, then the same thing could be them accessing something that you're selling and they can access it in their country. So it's an open door, it's a two-way street. So I think we will have to broaden our horizons so that we see that there are other opportunities. And so that's what we want to talk about today. And so if you remember, and here's Gilbert, he's popped in. And look at Gilbert. Did you just come in from Hawaii? Is that what you went? Is that why it took you so long?
I'm dressing the part.
On your way to the
We're gonna be
Caribbean?
talking about our Caribbean neighbors, so I'm dressing the part.
All righty then. I like the entrance.
Last week I came to work. I was in my working vest and everything.
Okay, so now you're coming in costume. Is that what it
Yes.
is?
Oh man, how you doing, co-host?
I am well, and how about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing good, man. I was taking care of some transactions.
Okay. Did you have a good week?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's been pretty good. So
Okay. Yeah, I took few little moments, not a lot of moments, because my folks won't let me have a lot of moments.
see, you've been pulled in all kinds of directions, co-host. They want you, man. They want you.
I tell you true. Just when I think, okay, I'm gonna take off. That's why I have to leave the country in order to get a vacation. Because if I'm here and they know I'm here in the city, yeah, right.
I know, man. I
So
know.
I have to put me and a few C's in between me so that
Oh
I
yeah.
can actually get and a number of what is it, time zones. That's it. You need to have a time zone between yourself and when you really want to take a vacation.
Oh man, you got to make sure you're not really available for the masses because people are still gonna try to reach you while you're on your vacation.
Yes, that's true. Just trying to get a few little moments to myself. So
Yes.
I'm excited about our conversation today, and
Oh yeah.
evidently we got about 13 people watching right now, so I guess they're excited
Excellent.
too.
Excellent. I love that. Well, for those who are just joining the Business Zone, this is Coach Gilbert Buchanan and my trusty co-host, Professor Crystal Mitchell. And folks, we're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. And what we do here on the Business Zone is to provide a platform for small businesses to help them become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. All that money that's out there in the marketplace, guys, over $600 billion in government contracts. most small businesses never see any of that. So we're trying to prepare you guys so that you can access some of those billions of dollars in government contracts. So you stay tuned to this program. You watch this show. You sign up for my mentorship program, which comes on every Tuesday, 5:30 in the evening. I send you guys the link so you can check it out. My co-host, she also has her program. She covers the bookkeeping, accounting, financial statements part of it, because in anything you do, your financials got to be in order. So you got to make sure you got no other than the best to take care of it. And who is that? That's no other than Coach Crystal. So
hey, gotta know where your money is, man.
gotta know where your money is, guys.
And make sure nobody's getting your money that you don't want to have your money.
That's right. And on this show, we have a saying that he who knows how to count his own money gets to keep it. So Coach Crystal is going to teach you guys how to count your own money, so Uncle Sam and the others don't take your money.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta learn how to play the game like the rich people. They didn't figure out how not to pay taxes. We paying all the taxes. So you want to get into sometimes it's not about beating them, it's about joining them, right?
That's right.
Let me just get to where you are, and then I can call my own shots.
That's right. And co-hosts, usually certain little tips and clues I will keep quiet and share it with our group, when we're running our classes. But today I'm going to share a little information so the masses out there who are watching, since we got a nice little audience out there watching today, I want to share some tips with you guys so you can start practicing on some of this and benefit financially from it. So, Crystal, what I heard,
what did you hear?
Through the grapevine,
and what was that?
Is that the wealthy, not the rich, the wealthy, part of the reason they don't pay taxes is because they spend half of the year on the ocean, in the water. So they have a yacht, they have a big old boat, so they spend 6 months in the water. And if you're spending 6 months or less at your residence where you live, you don't have to pay property tax for that property you got. So that's part of how the wealthy stay wealthier. You see what I mean?
I see. And then they move out. They move out of places like California.
Every year they jump on that yacht and they go out in the ocean. They may sail to different, Caribbean nations or different regions, but they stay out there for 6 months, man. Them and the family or them and their business partners, they have a good time. So we need to learn that too, so we can start applying that. Uncle Sam don't tell us those things. We got to find that out.
Exactly.
But this is a tip that we're giving today.
Right. But you do know that, so they operate different. They definitely operate differently. But money gives you that freedom. That's really what it comes down to. If you don't have any money, then you kind of trapped where you are. But if you got some money and you got it stored everywhere you needed to be stored to, now you have freedom of choice. That's what you're looking for, is a freedom of choice.
Yes.
You make the decision what is going to happen into your life, not somebody else, providing you're doing things on a moral, legitimate level.
That's right.
That's part of it. So I'm excited, guys, because Gilbert and I are always thinking outside of the box, and so this particular series that we're going to do is right up our alley. And if you guys had, when was that? We did the show, was it for Marcus Garvey's birthday? We did a show on Marcus Garvey back in June, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were just talking about how he was able to galvanize 6 million people during, post-slavery.
Yeah.
And how he had expanded, he had his publishing company and a number of other things. His ship, he stayed on a ship for 6 months or more.
Hey, you never know. Maybe he did that.
Maybe that's how I got started, Gilbert. And so if any of you know Gilbert and you know that Marcus Garvey is someone that I think Marcus Garvey is my Warren Buffett is to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Is what Marcus Garvey is to you.
He is our Warren Buffett. As a matter of fact, he's a national hero in Jamaica, and he has made so many lives improved over the years between 1887 and 1925. Man, this gentleman, he is just phenomenal. I understand that he yells from the tribe that I'm from, the Maroons.
All
So
righty.
so I feel a certain kindred spirit for him.
So that's kind of what we're doing, a Garvey 2.0,
Yes,
Marcus Garvey 2.0 series, just so that we can open mindsets and really start to think about what can we do. And so, Gilbert, since our conversation last week, I had an opportunity to go to this event, and I shared it with you, called the Los Angeles African Professional Group.
yeah,
And so these are individuals that have immigrated to the United States from Africa,
yeah,
and they've established a network amongst their peers,
yes,
and so that they can network and do business together. And so it was like it fell in line with what we had been talking about, right?
yeah,
So and I came back even more jazzed than I was before, because that to me that was a validation that we're heading in the right direction.
yeah,
And so that's kind of what so that's how we looked at, like, okay, this needs to be a whole series,
yeah.
and ongoing for a while until it just kind of sits in place and everybody's like, okay, why aren't we doing this? That's
Right.
what I want is not why are we doing this? Why aren't we doing this?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
So the series is the global Black economy and how the African diaspora entrepreneurs, that's all of us, are have the capability and can build wealth without borders. And so that's kind of where we are. So in episode the two, we're answering that question from the Caribbean side, the gateway to that global Black economy. And so I don't know if those of you that were here last week in your mind is, where do we start? How do we get started? What does this really mean? What's the nuts and bolts of that, right? So with Gilbert being from the Caribbean, from Jamaica, if Gilbert could get himself to America, I don't understand why we can't get ourselves spending money in Jamaica. How about that, Gilbert?
that's what I'm talking about, baby. Hey, I got me one of those little single person boats, man. I jump on it and start paddling till I got
Until you got here, huh?
here.
So, and the Caribbean is really not that small at all. We have
No.
some stats that we're going to go over as we get started. And so it's really not small. It's a lot. And there's a lot of people here in this country that are
Yes.
right here. And I have to ask this. I have a ton of friends that are from the Caribbean. How many of you guys have friends that's from the Caribbean? And how many of them still have family that still live in whatever
Let's
country?
put it in the chat so we know, guys. Put it in the chat.
Exactly. And so it's a bridge, because if you got here, as I said, there was a bridge that brought you over here. Now, if that bridge don't have a one way, it's not one way. It can be multiple ways. You can go in and out, right? So I think we're going to have a good time. It's definitely a topic that's going to resonate with Gilbert. And so we're ready to kick it off, Gilbert, unless you have something that went on this week that you want to share with us.
Well, I just did class number 6 in my mentorship program, which is phenomenal. And I have a group of about 13 entrepreneurs that I'm mentoring right now, and they've been phenomenal. Some of them are carryovers from cohort number 1, so they've been through cohort number 1. They understand the system, the process, the procedures. And what our mentorship program is all about is to help small businesses on the next level. And when I say next level, we're talking like a master's level. So if any of you have had a master's degree, then you understand the trial and tribulations and all the hassle it is to obtain one of those. So the material that we're disseminating in this mentorship program is on that level. It teaches you how to get your business contract ready, how to get it bank loan ready, how to get it business ready. And also, it teaches you how to prepare yourself in terms of developing a statement of qualifications, because those are things government contract providers need from small businesses. We also teach you how to develop a proposal, how to write a proposal to go after government contracts. We don't play, we take that thing and we dissect it into many parts. Like this past class, we did how to respond to an RFP. And there's several segments to it. We also dealt with the psychological aspect of government contracts, the compliance aspect of government contracts, all of that. So that's what we do, guys. We're trying to prepare you guys to be better than your competitors. We want, when you step in a room with a contract provider, that contract provider start giving you immediate respect, because they see you know what you're talking about and you have the solution to help them solve the pain that they have, that they need to have solved. So that's what that mentorship program is about. The class is every Tuesday at 5:30, from 5:30 to 7:30. And I'm going to put my phone number and email in the chat. So if you guys would like to check it out, you can contact me and we can get you set up. My co-host, she does bookkeeping and accounting with the Los Angeles Urban League and many other organizations. She is going to be a big part of this mentorship program as well, because she's coming in on week 12. She's going to be showing the proteges in my program how to understand and read their balance sheet, how to understand and read their profit and loss statement, how to develop a statement of cash flow, and what the financial statements mean, what they're all about, why they're important to your success in government contracting. So guys, we're setting you up to win. We're not just doing these little bogus workshops so you can attend something and say, oh, I attend a workshop. No, you got to come out. You got to have some takeaways. You got to have some value, so you can show the difference between you and your competitors. So that's what we do, guys.
And Gilbert, as we're going through as we are going through the topic we're talking about. So once you learn how to and you're contract ready, I think you're ready for any type of business, right?
Oh,
because
for sure.
It's all about growth. That's definitely about growth and scaling. So you can take those same skills and apply them to what we're talking about right now.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so these are business skills. We're learning to work on the business versus just being the laborer in the business.
And that's why having that knowledge is going to be so key while we're talking about doing business with African diaspora and also with the Caribbean. We talk about Caribbean and people hear about Caribbean. They probably go, it's probably just another region with some little countries, some little underprivileged, third world, underdeveloped countries. But surprise, guys. Those little third world countries you're thinking about, they're highly developed, highly educated. I'm from that, and I'm telling you, my education level is up there. So there's 26 Caribbean countries and territories that exist, guys. 26. So when you think of Caribbean countries, they're categorized in the Greater and the Lesser Antilles. So the Greater Antilles means the countries are bigger in size and bigger in terms of economics and the resources that they provide. And the Lesser Antilles are the smaller ones, but they still provide some resource. See, in Jamaica, we have a phrase that we say, you're little, but you're talawa. So little, but you're talawa means you're little, but you're big, you're strong, you provide value. So that's what that is. So when we see a little short person, we never mess with them because they've got some strength or value in something that we need. So That's some of the kind of
Oh,
things
that's
we're
interesting. You never know what they about to do,
You
huh?
never know what they will do. So yeah, man, we respect small countries, we respect small regions and territories, and we respect small people too.
Okay, all right. And a couple weeks ago, I think you showed a video. We showed that video where it was saying that Jamaica had the water line. What was it? The
Oh yes,
cable
yes.
lines up underneath the water way
Oh
before
yes,
anybody else.
yes.
Um, and America has kind of sold us a bill of goods that the only country in the entire world that's civilized is America.
Yeah, yeah.
but then when you go there on vacation, you're going like, wait, this the what?
Amazing, amazing.
So that's why it's really really important to get outside of America and do some traveling, because your eyes will open up and you realize that these are not islands that are uncivilized with natives running around half naked.
Yeah.
Countries
And see,
either.
the thing is, we want to open people's eyes up so they can see Caribbean nations and other countries as prospects. These are prospects. See, when I go anywhere in any foreign countries, I look at the opportunities, resources they have, and see how I can do business. And I'm just going to spill the tea here a little bit, just so you guys know. I'm working on a singular trade mission, just me and a buddy of mine. We're going to be traveling to Costa Rica, and we're going to go there looking to establish opportunities where they can do business with us here in the US. And also, we can prepare their small businesses and how to obtain government contracts and how to do contracting. So that's our plan, man. And that's the kind of thing I'm trying to put out there, co-host, to let folks know that, hey, you can do business with any country in the world. Just find out what they have to offer, what you have to offer, and do it in exchange. You remember how we got started, right? Post-slavery. We started out with what they call it a swap shop. Swap
Yeah.
shop.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
here
Right.
in the US, they call it swap meet, but we call
Right.
it a swap shop. So we go there and we swap whatever goods or resources we have to the other person so we can get some of theirs, and we exchange that, and it brings value to us. And that's how we did business in the beginning. But then we start moving up and people start marketing in all kinds of different ways. But the swap shop was the original trading post, the original trading post. Some people bring like 3 goats and, a bag of rice and some corns, some bananas.
Exactly. And if we go back biblically, they were doing it back there. So I
Exactly.
mean,
Exactly.
and we were habited on that continent. And so it's not like we all of a sudden got to this country
Yes.
brand new. We were not babies. We
No.
actually came with expertise. We came
Yes.
with skills. We came with knowledge, and it was just a circumstance. It had nothing to do with us, the people,
Right.
right? It had to do with the people coming in and flexing their arm muscle in order to make us work for them as slaves. So that ain't how we got started. We got
That's
started
right.
with it and
That's
differently.
right.
And I would like to say, slavery in America was definitely different than slavery in Jamaica or any of the Caribbean islands.
Yeah.
I mean, here it was such a system where I
Yeah.
think it was a little different in the islands. And I believe you guys got your freedom way before we got our freedom. And
Yes. Yes,
so
we
for those
did.
of us born here in the United States. So,
Yeah.
but again, so because they did have your freedom early, that meant that those countries had time enough to build. But that
Mhm.
also meant that same metropolis, or as they say, Babylon, they also put contingencies on those islands that in order to keep them, keep everybody as the underdog and maintaining their roles, the four entities that were involved in slavery and acquiring all of the wealth. So we're going to get out of that mindset, and we're going to move on to what the goals are. So, Gilbert, you want to kick us off, and then we all ready to go?
Oh yeah. Fired up and ready to go. So, as we know, many people would immediately say Africa if we're talking about the diaspora, the originator of opportunities, the birthplace of things, people, our people, and the culture. A lot of this also, I should say, got exported to Jamaica and the Caribbean and many of these other islands. Now, others might say United States, but today we're making a case that one of the most strategic places on earth is the Caribbean. Okay. And we're going to give you a little definition of the Caribbean immigrants itself. So, roughly 2.1 to 2.3 million foreign born individuals, heavily concentrated in New York and Florida. There are some here in Los Angeles, in California as well. They led the top of the origins of many of these Caribbean folks. Now, we have Cuba, we have the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Haiti, who kind of lead that charge for Caribbean folks and the descendants, and how they embrace and emanate the culture itself. Now, Haiti has both the largest total population and the highest percentage of people of African descent in the Caribbean.
Mm.
Approximately 95% of its 11.5 plus million residents are sub-Saharan African descent, and this makes them the largest Black republic in the world. Just so our listeners know, because everything we do is tied to slavery. It's tied to what happened before slavery and what just during slavery. Haiti was one of the countries that they received their independence before many of us Caribbean nation and others.
Mm.
They didn't play. Now, they speak French,
Hmm.
and they have a dialect that they also speak, just like we did in Jamaica. Our predominant language is English in Jamaica, but we also have a dialect which we call Patois, right? But the Patois was because remember back in slavery, they tell us, hey, we can't have two or more people gathering. You guys might be planning a riot. Don't want you
A
guys.
takeover, huh?
Yeah, you're planning a hostile takeover. We don't want you guys to be gathering. So get away from there. And don't be talking to each other in any kind of codes or anything like that either, because you might be planning to shoot me. so, so we developed Patois. They didn't even know what we were doing. And Patois was the African language tied into some of the English language that they taught us. So we created our own dialect that they didn't even understand. So they didn't want us to talk that at all. So we'll talk the bogus language they wanted us to talk, but when we get together, man, we're planning and scheming, as to what we need to do to take down massa.
And you might be planning dinner.
Yeah, we might be planning dinner
The
too.
peas and rice.
They don't know. And so Haiti had the same thing, man. They had their this is what they call Creole right now, but man,
Yeah.
they have their own little thing that they use. And co-host, some of your friends who are aligned with the Haitian Creole language, correct?
Yes, I do. Yeah. But and so they did, but they did have an uprising.
Oh yeah, they did have an uprising because they said, listen, man, these little people come from this strange land, coming to tell us what to do, make us work, don't pay us at all. They're getting rich, and we can't do anything about it, man. Get out of here. We're gonna take a stance. So that's when they galvanized. They had a leader called Toussaint Louverture. So
Hmm.
Toussaint Louverture he was like the Marcus Garvey of Jamaica. He was
Yeah.
he was a leader for Haiti, and they plan and as to how they're gonna ostracize the masses and their
Hmm.
crew and their clans. So they got rid of them, man. And then there's another lady. I gotta try to remember her name. That she was like an understudy of Toussaint Louverture. She was. You remember I told you the story about Jamaica? This powerful woman named Nanny who galvanized a group of
Oh yeah.
us,
Uh-huh.
and we kicked the British out of the Jamaica, right?
Right.
So that's what they did in Haiti. That woman, I can't remember her name, but she was an understudy of Toussaint Louverture, and she was very powerful, man. They kicked the French out of Haiti, man. It was amazing. So she's considered one of the national heroes there of Haiti.
Okay.
I'll tell you her name in a little bit, man.
And
But
it's kind of interesting because here in, the one immigrant that they seem to be able to get out of the country faster than anybody else are Haitians.
exactly.
They put a toe on the sand and the whole militia comes out and the next minute they're gone.
See, the reason they're afraid of the Haitians, man, they remember what the Haitians did to the French. They brutalized them. Yeah, you're not gonna be my master. Come on, you got me working and not paying me any money. For they didn't even work 40 hours a week, man. They worked like 80 hours or 100 hours a
Right.
week.
Sun
No
up
pay.
to sundown.
Yeah, no pay, no benefits. It's like, come on, man, we can't have this. So when they booted the French out of Haiti, then the others, the other Europeans are going, oh well, we can't have this. So now when it comes to the U.S., they say, we can't have them on our shores. Let's send them back. Let's get them out of here. But they still can't stop them, man, because they find ways to get into the U.S.
Exactly. So yeah. So Haiti is I've actually been to one of the islands on Haiti, but
Yeah.
again, those countries are very very poor because of the fact that they
Because they restrict economic resources from them.
yes.
See, those countries, Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, all of those, we've got natural resources that are valuable. But what they do is they try to put their feet on our throats, so we are not able to produce or manufacture those resources and make money from it. Like, for example, in Jamaica, we've got what they call bauxite. Bauxite is that red dirt that you find in many of the country areas. Red, really red dirt. That red dirt is very similar to the red dirt in Mississippi.
Mm.
And they when they process that red dirt, they get what they call alumina out of it. Alumina is is the um, is the pre-product to aluminum, because when you process the alumina the right way, then it turns into aluminum. And aluminum is what you use to make pots, pans, cars, all of those things, fence, some of the
Mhm.
roof that they had, the tin roof and all of that stuff back in the day. And even today, those things are made from aluminum. So that was real great natural resources we had. But guess what? What the US did, they said, okay, you guys have these resources, but you don't have the machinery and the production crew and team to produce this. So here's what we're going to do. We will take the alumina from you. We'll buy it at little or nothing, and then we'll process it and sell it back to you for a lot of money.
Mm.
So that's what they do. And they did the same thing with most of the Caribbean countries like Haiti, Barbados, and a few others. So Trinidad, all of those Caribbean countries. I see Trinidad was the most prosperous of all of the Caribbean nations because they have oil. They have
I didn't
oil.
know that. Okay.
Oh yeah, they have oil.
Okay.
Yes, they have oil. So they were very valuable. So everybody was jockeying for them, trying to capture them and monopolize them and be that person in charge. So just like Jamaica and Haiti, the Trinidadian blacks and natives said, we're not having that. So they defended themselves too.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
And in just like most countries of that nature, and I think really around the world, and
Yeah.
for us here in America, finding employment sometimes is challenging.
Oh yeah.
So self-employment is how we operate on a norm, right? And so
From the beginning, man.
right. So most of the 70% of the workforce in the Caribbean nations are self-employed,
Yeah.
and they work just like we do in
Yeah.
micro enterprises and driven by necessity or
Yeah.
lack of former jobs. So that's
Mhm.
exactly the same way we operate. So we're already on the same playing field.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, like Jamaica, for example, they have a population of 2.7 million, right?
Hmm.
And Jamaica is one of the smallest Caribbean countries. Cuba is the largest. Cuba is like 3.5 times the size of Jamaica, you know.
Right.
So most of the people there in Jamaica, up to 90% of them are black. they're
Yeah.
they're black Afro-Caribbean, or they're from the diaspora. So, but they're not the leaders. They're not the one running things. The ones running things are people who are of European descent, Chinese descent, that type of thing.
Yeah. When I first went to Jamaica, I was like, wow. I think I was in my early 30s. And so it was my first time. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to you're going to Jamaica. There's all black people there, right? And this is like going to be wonderful because all black people doing all black people things with making money and stuff. And I'm going to a store like, you're not black. I was like in shock.
Yep, that's exactly what it is, man. That's exactly what it is. And you'll see a Chinese Jamaican out there right now, and you're expecting them to speak Chinese. They're speaking patois. Hey man, wagwan, what you do? What you try to do, man? Talk to me.
Exactly. And so it's just like, whoa, wait, what's happening here? And I was in shock for the whole time I was there. What?
It's
Only place
amazing.
you saw black people were riding on the buses. And I'm like, what? Oh, I don't understand where I am. Where am I? It took me a moment. But like us, in the primary type of businesses that the self-employed individuals, the entrepreneurs, they're in retail, they're in
Yeah,
services,
yeah,
they're in creative arts and tourism and agribusiness culture. So the farming and the emerging, and now all of them have gotten into the digital economy.
yeah,
So now that is what opens up that door for
yeah.
opportunity because
Hmm.
of the digital economy.
Yeah,
So this is when we can really stop to say, okay, wait a minute, how can we not do business with people that are already moving? But the thing that I
exactly.
do know, just like when I was in Cairo, and when I was in Cape Town, so
Yeah,
there are certain things that we take for granted here in America. We would never think about that the lights would go off. In fact, we're not even happy when the lights go, when
see,
there's a
that's
power
that's a
shortage,
good
right?
point. That's a good point right
Right.
there,
We're
co-host.
like, okay, what do you mean the power is off, right?
And the power will be off for a long time, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, so and so in that area, also in Cape Town when I was there, after a certain time, if you're not in a hotel and they have a generator, again, it's off like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it doesn't come back on to the morning. Remember when we were doing my girlfriend's brothers that from
The
Cape Town, and
podcast, yes.
they had the power went out, and so they were doing the podcast in dark.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, so those are opportunities because here we're now all moving to solar, right? And so
Yeah,
the sun is what is generating your electricity. So those
yeah,
are opportunities right there in Jamaica and all those islands that their grid is not up to date or as current as our grid. So the Caribbean is more than beautiful beaches, and I'm sure all of us have been there on vacations. We've
yeah.
taken cruises there. I think I've been to on I think I've been on 4 cruises. So the only place I have not been to is Antigua. Everywhere else I've been there. So we're staying in hotels. It's absolutely beautiful in the
Yeah.
hotels, right?
Yeah.
But then go into the inland to where the people are, where the
Yeah.
natives are, and
Right.
where then you see that's what is real business right there, and that's what really is are the people that live there, not the big conglomerate hotels. And so, um,
And see, for some of the people here, if they're really thinking global, they're thinking on a large level. Now, we know, you and I know this, that when you're in business because you're there to solve a pain or many pain points in the marketplace, right?
mhm,
That's your whole purpose of
that's the
starting a
whole
business.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after you start that business, then the second purpose is to limit your liabilities as much as possible while making a whole lot of money. Okay.
Hmm.
So that's the second purpose while you're in business. But now, what I'm trying to say is, if entrepreneurs like us here in the US, if we can look at the needs, the pain points for some of these countries, like you just described, South Africa, Jamaica, some of the Caribbean nations, they're having power outages for 6 to 8 hours at a time, and they have no control over it because that's what the power companies in those countries are doing. Then maybe a solution to that pain point, guys, is to try to identify generators that are run by solar. Because
Hmm.
since it's Caribbean, there's a sun there a lot. So if the sun is out and it's solar, then you can have it set up in such a way so that it functions. So even though they're the big companies are gypping them with electric bills and all of that, and you can introduce um, generators that will keep them going, keep their business going, keep the refrigerator going. And many of those people, they might be sick from the hospital, so they need electricity for their medical supplies and all of that.
Hmm.
That's where the generator will come in, guys. So that might be an opportunity for some of you to look at and say, hey, maybe I could do business that way. So we're putting out ideas out there, guys, and just check it out. Check it
Right,
out.
exactly. 'Cause and innovation, because again, it's a place that the I don't think here we have systems, official systems. In a lot of those countries, they don't have official systems. They don't have. I know when I go visit my daughter, post office is just like, yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
And if it does get to the post office, it don't get to you.
They're,
Like I said,
they're still using the Pony Express system.
right, the Pony Express systems, or it's just not, they're not bonded. Let's put it that way. So your product never gets to you, and
Yeah.
so now you're overcharged. So those are the things that you know. Again, solving a problem, right? Logistics, that's huge everywhere. And now with solar, so in our backyard, we had. I think I mentioned to you, Gilbert. We had when we first got our garden back, and everything was open because we didn't have our gates up, and so the raccoons thought this was their backyard, and
Mm.
they were just coming in, just tearing up the garden, just coming in to tear up just because they could. And so what we did was I ordered from Temu, which is actually you're ordering from China, and they're sending it here. And I ordered these little lights that are all solar powered. And so we got those situated everywhere, the light spotlights, and they're all generated the sun. We got sun 365 days a year, but the islands got sun even more than we got sun, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
um these are this, and so there you go, you now have power, and we now have solar on our house, and which reduces your electricity bill. So these are innovations, and these are opportunities for people. And at what point, you know really, even during
Co-host, I think you should re-emphasize those 5 points you just talked about the location, the logistics, the trade, innovation, and opportunities. Because people need to recognize that when you go to these Caribbean islands or African countries, it's not just for vacation, man. We're talking about business opportunities here.
exactly. And if you guys are looking at a map, so any ship that's coming from anywhere else in the world is coming through that canal which is how the transatlantic slave trade went. It actually, and that's kind of how it started. You know, Portugal, all of these places got to come. You got to come through that area in order to get to South America, right? I mean,
Yeah.
to North America. So that is how they saw these islands just sitting out there, which had people on them. They were inhabited. They weren't
Yeah.
like to be discovered by Columbus. They
Yeah.
already had peoples, and and so that is actually the trade route, right? So one of the trade routes, not all of them, but one of them. So that location is primary for, and the waters are warm. So therefore, you know, ships coming through there, they weren't in danger unless they're coming through hurricane season of losing their ships. So of course, it's all through timing, but logistics, and so there's trade there. And that's why there's innovation and there's opportunity. It has always been opportunity. We just need to do a reverse thought process because
Yeah.
we're thinking, oh, everything that we have has to come from this country that we're in.
And many of our entrepreneurs need to start doing a lot of research, because many entrepreneurs today, they may do some marketing, they may do, what they need to do to get by and make a dollar or so, but we got to start thinking globally, guys. You start thinking globally, you're looking into things, you're looking into doing things outside of the box. So my co-host said, you look at the different locations. There's so many different locations to look at when you look at a Caribbean region. You know, you look at their, you want first, when you look at their location, you want to look at, okay, the climate, look at the weather. How frequently does it rain? How frequently is there sunshine? And then you build your strategies around those things. The logistics, what's the process? If you were to ship a product, how long would it take? What channels would it go through? And who are the key persons that you need to deal with in order to get this safely to your trading partner? So all of those things are things you need to know. If when you do business, you got to do letters of credits and those types of things, those are things you want to find out, because a letter of credit means that you identify a partner in a foreign land who wants to do business with you, and you say, okay, I'm going to send you X amount of products, or I'm going to provide you some services, but you need to pay X amount up front. Well, that X amount is going to be in the form of a letter of credit that they generate, and they put it in a system which stores and secure that document, that instrument, to show that they're serious about doing business. And that's, it's kind of like getting uh what do you call that, not a money order, but uh
Kind
a
of like a
cashier, a
certified, yeah,
cashier's check, a
yeah,
cashier.
like a cashier's check,
Yeah,
right? Exactly.
something to that effect, right? So
Yeah.
it shows they're serious about doing business. So they will make the order from you. You produce or manufacture the product, you send it to them, or you obtain the product or service, you send it to them, and then everybody's happy. You get your money, they get their product within a timely manner. So these are things, guys, you need to check out. I did a course with the SBA. It's called International Business,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how, those are some of the items that we discovered and we talked about.
Mm.
So the letter of credit is just one of those. There are so many other instruments that can help you with in trading with foreign countries. And if we need to do a class on this, co-host, maybe we'll have to, but yeah, yeah. This is how you guys want to look at it. You look at the location, you look at the logistics, the process, how it
Mm-hmm.
gets there, the trade, what type of trades are there, how can you make this trade easy and simple? Are there tariffs? And if there's tariffs in some of these countries, then you may want to avoid some of those countries, but find the ones with no tariffs and try to do business with those. Innovation, you're creating stuff. I mean, America is the biggest innovators in the world. They create most of the stuff that's out there in the world market. And most of those creators are African Americans, because a lot of the inventions came into being, like I said, post slavery. Post slavery. After 1887, we start having a lot more inventions. And you can think of anything out there.
Hmm.
created by a black person. So
Exactly, and the same, and on that note, Gilbert, the same when during this during slavery,
yeah,
they were trading cotton back to Europe and to
yeah,
Portugal and to Spain and to everywhere around the world,
yeah,
China, and shipping it out from the southern states in order for it to get there. And that's why there are ports all over the world.
yeah,
And Los Angeles happens to have one of the largest ports in the world, and
yeah.
it's a busy port. And so, you have resources, and you have things available to you that can make that happen. And then, of course, with the digital world, certain things can be digital, and it arrives on via the internet. You can, I talk to my daughter all the time in real time. Um, they're 12 hours ahead of us, but we do all our communication on Facebook, on Messenger, or and when my friends are in South Africa, we do it on WhatsApp. So it's not like you can't even talk to the people
Yeah.
anymore. And it used to be you had to use that little what was that little thing that typed and not it's like a
The telegram.
yeah, like that. But you don't even have to do that now. You can pick up your cell phone and just start talking to whomever you want to talk to, wherever they happen to be in the world. So that makes things that much more available to us. So and what that does is create enormous opportunities for entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter where
Yeah,
you live,
yeah, yeah.
and that's
And,
what's important. And
and
then you have to go ahead, Gilbert.
you know what I see in a lot of foreign countries, co-hosts, the
Mm,
Caribbean and some of the African nations. So let's say that you have the NBA finals, right, between two teams. Let's
yes.
say the Lakers and the Celtics, right?
Hmm.
So whichever team did not win the NBA championship, because they already the league, the NBA, they already have certain things print up, certain merchandise print up. So they print up materials for the two teams. So if the Lakers win, they call them world champion. If Celtics win, they call them world champions, and they have it on their jerseys, their colors, and all of that. So the
Right.
team that loses, they export those products over to these foreign countries, and the people there are happy to wear it because they're wearing a Celtic jersey or a Laker jersey,
Right.
even though they're
Exactly.
not the winner. You see what I mean? So
Right.
it's saying world champion, but that team is probably not the world champion,
Right.
but and they sell it at a discount, you know.
One
So
day they will be, maybe the next time, but we already
yeah,
got our jerseys, man. We already ready.
exactly. And they do the same thing with the Super Bowl. They the same thing with the World Cup. They send these products to foreign countries, and so I bring this up just to say that we can also print certain things. There are some of us listening right now who may print designs on shirts and bags and all of those things. You can do that and sell it to some of these Caribbean countries as well. You know?
Exactly. And you can sell print on demand, so you don't even have to do all the printing, right?
Yeah.
You can sell through Etsy or Pinterest or Shopify. So you don't even have to have the physical products anymore.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They go through the warehouse. The warehouse has the distribution contracts to ship all over the world. You just need to have um what you need, right? I've ordered jewelry from Europe, right, off of
Yeah.
Etsy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, and that's the beauty of it. Now we don't have to stay here in the zip codes in the United States. We can actually branch out and sell wherever we want to, because there are avenues that are already been created for that are out there, and you just utilize them. You just got to learn what it. You just have to learn the how to navigate through the system and what works best for what you're trying to sell. So you
And
have to.
that could easily be one way of avoiding those tariffs too, because you're doing it through Etsy, right?
Yeah.
So they have it online so they can access it in their country. So they don't have to deal with any tariffs and all of that. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So it's amazing. It's an
It's
amazing
amazing.
way for a small business, a small entrepreneur here in the U.S. to do business in some of the Caribbean nations and some of the African nations.
Exactly. And so this is where entrepreneurs, this is where you should be able to excel, right? Because you always are looking the definition of us is we always see everything as an
Yeah,
opportunity. There's
yeah,
no problems or challenges. It's an opportunity for us to say, okay, so how do I fill that gap, right? What do
yeah,
I need to do to fill that gap? So for our entrepreneurs out there, and I know some of us are a little myopic, and so for those of us that that think outside of the box, so just
yeah,
imagine manufacturing in Africa, packaging in Jamaica,
yeah.
marketing in Atlanta, distributing through Miami
Mm-hmm.
with customers all around the world,
Right.
right? So and that's no longer fantasy. That's actually a reality. People are
Yeah.
actually doing that. So, and that is what we call the modern supply chain thinking. So it's not like it used to be. It's so different now. But
Yeah.
we're still operating as business owners of the 50s, not business owners in 2026. And so that's what we have to look at. How do we do business in 2026
Yeah.
and the future?
See, a big part of being in business is to become rich from the product and services you provide. So by finding new territories that you can do business with, it will help you to get closer to that goal of being rich. So there are, like I said, there are 26 Caribbean nations and territories that you can market to. So those are 26 different market segments that you can target. you know if you decide to go on vacation to one of them, you go and you study the market, you talk to entrepreneurs over there. If you can get access to the government, you talk to them too, see what type of programs they have and how there can be mutual benefit between their entrepreneurs and you. That's another way. But you want to find out about those regions, man, what their pain points are and how you can solve it. Remember, guys, pain we talk about pain in the marketplace. Pain is solved in three ways, one of three ways: time, money, and resources. Time, money, resources. So somebody may not have enough time, so they need you to come in and provide the time for them to solve their problem. They may not have the resources. You come in, provide that resource, solve the pain for them. Then the third one is um, the money part of it. They may not have the money, so you might be able to fund the production of the certain products that you're going to send them. Or if it's services, then you don't need to fund service. I mean, you don't need to manufacture services. You just provide the services using, whether it's your line of credit to do what you need to do, and then you send it to these folks via the letter of credit that I talk about, and you guys are good. So there are 26 Caribbean countries, guys, 26 marketplaces that a lot of you do business online on Facebook Marketplace. That's one market source. So
Right.
think of 26 of those guys
Right. And
in a foreign
Instagram
country.
and TikTok, these things are coming from all over the world.
Yeah.
We're buying from all over the world as it is. So Gilbert, you want to talk about the different types of business opportunities or
Oh,
industries that are available in any of one of these countries in the Caribbean and as well as Africa, but right now this is our focus.
Okay. So let's break it down a little bit. Let's look at Jamaica, for example. So there are one of the biggest resource there is a food production, right?
Okay.
Restaurants. So that's a good one. Restaurants. Now, the Jamaican people are pretty creative when it comes to creating cutlery and utensils and all of those things. So they may not need to purchase that from you. But if you can look at other things, that can help to make things a little easier for them. They may need, we have pressure cookers here that's high level that may not, those may not have gotten to the Jamaican region yet. Those are things you can look at, pressure cooker, high level pressure cooker, and you can market that to them and sell it to them at a certain price. That might be a big seller. I already talked about the generator, right? The electric power generator. That's a big seller. That
Mm.
will be sold in any Caribbean nation and even in South Africa, even in Egypt, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah,
just don't
even in
follow.
Egypt.
Yeah.
So that's a big seller. So you definitely want to do your research and see what items. So those are them. We know rent a car is a big thing down there. So you might be able to provide them, when they rent a car, there are certain things they're going to need, for the renters, certain packages, contracts, those. If you can provide that, if you're professional services and you can provide that type of service to them, hey, at a discount, I'm telling you, and you organize the whole thing. That's where the logistics part come in. You organize the whole thing, so all they have to do is log in online to your website, and then they can access all of that stuff. That's a big sell for you guys. So that's another thing right there.
And I
Um,
remember gas was astronomical.
yeah, yeah,
So, petroleum, or was it petrol, but whatever it is, and which is also astronomical in other countries as well.
yeah,
Like they need an alternative um, to the regular petroleum
yeah,
gas,
yeah.
be able to come up with some new ideas. So if you're in, if you are
In the
individual that is,
fuel business.
yeah, in the fuel business, and I mean they're like in some Africa that they use corn husks, they use other things that have some of the similarities to
Right.
gasoline, coming up with new things there. And I would say in today's world, technology is everywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, so
And two more areas that I want to talk about real quickly, co-host. One of them is tourism. Tourism is big. It's one of our biggest revenue generator in the country. Okay.
mm,
So with tourism, if you can identify a certain solution that to problems that the tourism industry is experiencing, you want to touch base with the Department of Tourism and have a conversation with them, see what challenges they're having, and many of you can come up with solutions that could solve that. Maybe it's a process, maybe it's a system, maybe they don't have a system to deal with certain things, like Dunn's River Falls in Ocho Rios. When people go there, they get in line, and maybe that line moves too slowly. When you go to restaurants and they have those little reservation booths, you go there and you just type in, "Hey, I'm here and I got the party of 3,
hmm
and here's my phone number," right? And you put it in, and then they'll tell you what your wait time is and all of that. You could do something for that too, in terms of tourism, when people are getting in line and trying to get admitted to see certain attractions or whatever. If you have
hmm
that type of tool, digital tool, online tool, you can sell it to them too. That would be a big money maker to the tourism industry there, and you guys could make a lot of money. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about was God, that just it skipped my mind, co-host, skipped my mind. But I know tourism was one, and I can't.
yeah,
I,
they
I,
come back.
yeah, I
But
should
I
have
mean,
written.
again, there's so many other opportunities, things that we don't think of, things that we take for granted here, that they don't have in those other countries. And
Mhm.
when they come here, they're like, oh, wow, certain cases, if you live out in the rural area, running water is like, gold, right? So, things of that nature, and or step tanks and things like that. And that happens a lot in the island areas because of, just again, it's not, we have systems and departments that manage all of our roads and manage our utilities and manage our, all of that sort of stuff. But that's not the same in
See,
other
that's a
countries.
good point you brought up there, Coles. That's a good point about systems and managing. So there are folks here who do project management, right? They
Yes.
manage projects, whether it's construction, highway, transportation, whatever it is. They do project management. That's another skill and resource that you can do business with them on, because Jamaica is currently redeveloping the nation, and they're building transportation systems, they're building freeways, highways, interconnected highways, and it's just amazing. They have the Chinese down there right now was funding many of these projects. But if you access the Jamaican government, the Department of Trade or Department of Commerce, and try this. Oh, I remember the second item code. I remember it now.
Okay.
Okay, and as I mentioned, the Department of Trade and Commerce, it came back to me.
Okay.
So if you can access those department and have a conversation with them about how you can team up with them, because the Chinese is providing them a certain rate, the Americans, the U.S., they're providing them like a rate that will destroy them and run them out of business. So if you can come in with a reasonable price, then that can happen. Here is another business that would be a big thriving business in Jamaica: the drone industry, the drone business,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
Drones. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why they need drones. So Jamaica is surrounded by water, it's an island, right? So
Hmm.
they're going to need security to look at the borders and see who is illegally coming in, because they have little boats that come in and they
Mm.
smuggle drugs and all kinds of stuff too, like anywhere else. So if you have drones flying around with cameras on that, monitoring the water lines and all of that, or security buildings, you got drones flying around. This is just some of the things, guys, that you guys can make some money on in some of these Caribbean islands. Not just Jamaica, but others. I'm speaking
Others
about
as
Jamaica
well.
because I know that more than
Hmm.
anything else. But those things are things, guys, that you can make a killing on. And learning about drone, getting a license, excuse me, and doing a course on how to fly a drone and operate a drone is not difficult. They got schools and classes going on now. So if you guys can do that and talk to the Jamaican government about how you can make that happen, when they're doing logistics, traveling throughout the country from point A to point B, you have that drone monitor it, because the width of the country, length of the country is only 150 square miles, 150. So you can travel the length of the country in like 2-3 hours. You see what I'm saying? 2-3 hours to travel the whole length of the country.
Wow.
So if you have a drone being monitored and monitoring those activities, or you can have a drone monitoring, sports events or anything, man, anything on the outside. Oh, guys, you guys can make a killing. So these are just some of the recommendations I want to put out there, co-hosts.
Exactly. And now I'm going to address, and I sent you a second piece. It was just like a summary, but I think it's so when we obviously this is a bigger scale, right? And then something that Gilbert and I have been talking and promoting for a while is partnership and collaboration, right? Because this is not something you just go out there individually and do. You do need to establish partnerships with entities that can actually help you in this process. And so I think that should be the blueprint, right? When we ask how do we actually go about doing this, we should look at it as not just a you trying to figure it out by yourself. I say come together with a number of partners and see how you can do that. So as I was doing my research last night, co-host, I
Yeah.
was looking at some of the things, and it basically there were some serious questions on. So right now in America, At one point when you were reaching out to do business, the USAID was one of those ways you could go about doing that, right?
Yes,
But so
yes,
I asked that question exactly, what, with that having being dismantled, what does that actually look like in today's world, right? And
yeah.
so what it basically came down to say is that the future of let me see how I read it. It says the future of diaspora economics won't be built by waiting for traditional institutions. It will be built by entrepreneurs, technologists, and investors who recognize that the Caribbean is not the edge of the map, but the bridge,
Mm,
right? And so it says the 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 adopted golden rules and core principles that we would have to look at in order to do that is, the goal is a partnership model, right? And it's not to
yeah,
do business in the Caribbean, it's to
yeah.
build businesses with the Caribbean,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
So you're coming with a proposal to say, I recognize you have these problems, these concerns, right? I
yeah.
have resources. I have partners in the United States. I have investors that are looking for other ways to invest their money. So maybe we can come to some sort of partnership. And that's a partnership model, right?
And that's definitely how you want to approach that too. You know, not making them feel like, hey, we're superior to you guys. You guys don't really know what you're doing. So let us show you how to do this. No, because
Right.
these Caribbean countries, they're very proud and prideful. You know, so they want respect, and they'll
And they
give
want to
respect as
protect
well.
what's theirs, right? They
Yeah,
don't want you coming in, man, muscling it through. So
yeah,
we can't come in with that narrative, and that's the same thing that is here in America. Don't come to our community saying we're gonna give you charity, right?
yeah,
Because that ain't
yeah.
gonna help me. You need to
Right.
teach me how to fish, not to
Yeah,
hand me bread,
that's
right?
right.
Because if you teach me how to fish, then I can survive on my own. But
Yeah,
if you hand me bread, then I'm dependent on you to hand me
yeah.
bread every time I'm hungry. And
Right.
so we have to look at it more from a paradigm shift of economic collaboration between equals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for an opportunity to branch out our horizons,
Yeah.
and you have opportunities here in your country. How can we work together and build better businesses for both of us? So um, that's how you look at it. It's again identifying a business model that works,
Yeah.
not aid, or and so therefore you don't need USAID. And
Right.
we know since they have eliminated USAID, there
Yeah.
are tons of opportunities everywhere, and those
Yeah.
people need solutions in order to feed their family, keep their children, keep their people safe, and so coming up with an idea. And in the Caribbean, most of those countries are English speaking, so it won't be
Yes.
a hard
Yeah.
that's not a no brainer like going to do
Right.
business in Switzerland and you don't understand the language, right?
Right. Right.
Here, they speak English and they have the same needs that we have,
Oh, for sure. Even more. Even
even
more
more
need.
so. So
Yeah.
those are some of the value propositions that I saw, and I think this one is important as well, Gilbert. And I did send you it's like a summarization. It's a number of pages though.
Yeah.
So I asked the question: why do we believe that the Caribbean is overlooked as a business partner from our standpoint?
Right. Well,
Why
well,
do we not see that these opportunities are out there?
well, I'm going to tell you from an observation standpoint that many folks look at Caribbean countries and African countries as third world, underdeveloped.
Mm,
They don't really have what we have. They're not ready for what we have. They may not want to speak to us on the same level that we are speaking to them in terms of transactions. So, therefore, it's going to be too much work. So, we're not going to do that, or we may not make enough money. But based on what I said earlier, if you're looking at the Caribbean alone, there are 26 countries and territories that you can do business with. You know, I mean, many of these nations population is anywhere from 1.7 million to about 10 million, because Trinidad, I think their population, I believe, is about 5 million or somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
So Jamaica is 3 million now. So, and that's just three of the countries I just talked about. There's still 23 others. So, if we want to do business, so let's say we're currently doing business right now within state, in state. So let's say
Okay.
you're doing business in Los Angeles, Pasadena, maybe San Bernardino County. That's
Right.
just, you see, but that's just 4 areas, 4 regions. But if you're doing it with Caribbean countries, and there are 26 of them, just think about that impact. And if we're comparing the population density, then the only city that has a large population, from what I talked about doing business here, that would be Los Angeles. Los Angeles has about 4 million people. You
Right.
know, but Pasadena probably has about 90,000 or so, close to 100,000, probably about 100,000. Inglewood, I think Inglewood had about 1 point something million.
Mm-hmm.
But many of these countries, they have 3 million and more. So, who has a bigger marketplace with more customers for you? So those are things, guys, that, as small businesses, you want to just stop looking at, hey, I want to do business in my region with the cities, Anaheim, or, all these cities,
Mm-hmm.
so you want to look outside of that, guys, if you want to make more money, because some of you are trying to do business in Los Angeles, and it's difficult because the usual suspects are the ones getting the contracts all the time. They're not sharing it with any of you guys. So now you got to start looking outside and see, how can I do business elsewhere? You can even do business out of state, Arizona. You got Nevada. You got all these different states that you can do business in, as well as the Caribbean, guys. So we're trying to get you guys to look at bigger picture so you can get richer faster, take care of your family, take care of your communities. That's what we're trying to do here on a Business Zone, guys.
And do business differently. I mean, just
Yeah,
expanding the whole process.
yeah,
Um, so next week, what we're going to do, because I'm sure there are questions you're asking on how to do that, how you actually how does commerce work in other countries, because they actually have some interesting compliances when it comes to banks and stuff. But
yeah,
remember, we're doing business differently here, right?
yeah,
We're using third party apps in order to receive money. Used to be, it was
yeah,
you mail a check, right?
yeah.
And it had to be processed through a bank. But we're
Right.
not doing business like that anymore,
No.
right? The pay portals that are out there are worldwide. They're just
Yeah.
not right here. So your money comes directly into your bank account, right? So it's not
Right.
like you have to go to other countries and go through the governmental red tape in order to process large checks or any of that sort of stuff. There are other ways to do it. So I think so. We're going to talk about that next week. We're going to also talk about how can we build meaningful relationships with entrepreneurs, because just like here, Gilbert talks about this all the time. When you do business with partners, there has to be due diligence in place,
Oh yes. Oh
right?
yeah.
And so we have to learn what are the due diligence for that. And for one thing, I don't know about you guys, but if somebody Gilbert, you and I had this conversation the other day. If someone calls me on the phone to sell me something out the blue sky, I didn't ask you to call me. I don't know where the heck you are. I'm not doing business with you, right?
That's
Because I
right.
got to build up a relationship, right? So
Yeah.
you got to, in a partnership, you got to think about what you're going to do. Sometimes you have to buy before you actually do business with somebody to see what the whole transaction looks like,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
so these are some things that would require, and I think, Gilbert, these are courses that we actually could teach,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
on how do you go about doing that. The one thing I do know, just like we do these shows, we got to do our research, right?
oh
We
yeah,
just don't pull stuff out the air. We got to do our research to see how it works. So that means learning how to um, acquire the information and the knowledge of a country that you want to do business in. What are their needs? Don't you come in telling them what they need. You
yeah,
want to find out what their needs are. Just like as a client, I
yeah,
don't. I may be selling widgets, but
right,
I need to find out if you have a need for my widget,
right,
right?
exactly,
And so
exactly.
that's what we're going to talk about next week. What are some of these? And these were just some of the high level questions that I had and also discovered is,
Yeah,
proximities and things like that, positioning. What do you need to do? Because this is not like y'all leave this show today and then go, okay, next week I'm doing business in the Caribbean. It's not like that. you
yeah,
you
man.
got
I do believe your points are very valid and very clear and on point, man. So, folks, for you, those of you that are listening right now, please take note to this. This show will be on this show that we're doing right now. It is on LinkedIn, and I mean
uh,
LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook,
right.
and it will be on Facebook after this show, so you guys can access it. Click on the link, copy the link, and just review it again and see some of the key things we talked about. I do believe the drone approach is a very good one, co-host, and I believe they can make money on that.
Oh, I think so. I think that, and even from a tourism standpoint,
Yeah,
right? So if you
yeah,
have, want to attract tourists to your country, or somebody, then having an opportunity to have drones that can take all the beautiful landscaping of where you
yeah,
are, the
yeah,
grounds of your facility,
yeah,
or you going in because you have you know how to use and you're certified for
yeah,
having a drone, and then you going in and offering those services to them. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tomorrow.
yeah,
What does
definitely.
that all look? I mean, next week. What
Yeah,
what are the steps, right? And what are how do you get paid? What are the
right,
financing channels?
right.
And then most importantly, there and I'll share this with you, Gilbert. There are some uh, private certifications that you can get and some
Mhm.
trade networks that you can operate in within those countries,
Yeah,
and then you get certified, and now you don't have to go through the United States process. You can
right.
actually, you're certified to do that yourself. So got to be able to prepare ourselves for what this looks like
Hmm.
in the future, because truly what moving forward to 2030 looks like is not doing just business here in one place.
Right, right.
It's not that to really, and this is a great time to get ourselves prepared, because to be on the honest side, after this administration leaves, there's going to be a whole lot of building up that America is going to have to do. And I
Yeah,
think with that, that means there's going to be some limited opportunities here. So now is a perfect time to start to get
yeah,
ready to pivot out in order
yeah.
to. It's just like the people during the pandemic. They had to pivot their businesses, and man, they're making more money now than they were when they had whatever that business that didn't work anymore was.
Yeah.
But people had to learn to do some things differently. So let's think of this as our pandemic, and we got to learn
Yeah.
to do business differently.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh,
um,
yeah.
we hope you guys, we hope this has opened up your mind and
Mhm.
realize that this is a time that we need to really be thinking outside of the box, and that we can build partnerships, we can build and the way you build a partnership is one entrepreneur, one business, one investor, and one collaboration at a time, which is
Yeah.
what we do. A lot of us are already at that space. We're not trying to do all of this by ourselves, right?
Very good. Very
We're
good. I
trying to
like
do
that.
it. So, guys, together we can build, we can own, we can
Mhm.
thrive. then that looks great, phenomenal for any of the from a Black economic standpoint. Um, we can create a future that could be worth trillions, since that's the new buzzword, trillions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can be a force, guys. We don't have to be locked in. We're not landlocked by no means.
Yes.
So, especially those of us in California, we're not landlocked. We just have to change our mindset, and we have to learn to trust each other. And we have to learn that our power, our purpose is our prosperity. And we have to let other things that have been in our heads for our whole entire life on why we should not trust each other. We need to eliminate that mindset and start to actually look at how do we come together and thrive together. So that's pretty much the show for today, and we're gonna come back next week. I guess Gilbert gonna have another island shirt on.
Yeah, I've been manufacturing them.
He better back in his island shirt. Last week we had his he was getting ready to go to the highways and the byways.
So Pat says sextillionaire.
Yeah, we're gonna be a gazillionaire, a zillionaire, man, because they come up with new. We didn't skip by millions and gone to. We didn't skip by billions and went on to trillions. So
Oh
if
yeah.
everybody else talking about trillions, I think we should be talking about trillions too.
Yeah.
And we ain't gonna
It's
let
gonna
everybody else
it's
have the
gonna
fun.
be easy money, man, to do business in the Caribbean. Easy money. The need is there. Um, the pain points are there. All we got to do is to present our solutions to the right people,
Yes.
and get it started.
Right, and you get to go lay on a beach.
Yeah,
While you
yeah.
after you negotiate, man.
I haven't had that in a while, man. That's why I'm starting out with my shirt.
Right, with a little calypso music going
Little
on the
calypso,
side
yeah.
there. So it's not all work.
That's right. That's right. So I
All
hope
right.
I hope we provided some value to you guys today. Open your eyes and your mind a little bit to start looking at alternative ways of doing business with different nations, different regions, different entrepreneurs. Just remember, guys, you will not be rich unless you are getting these government contracts or doing business with foreign countries. That's the only way. You can't get business just waiting for these guys to give you something. It's
No,
never gonna happen.
that's never gonna happen. So we gotta set out like the Marcus Garveys of the world and the
Yes.
Madam C.J. Walkers and
Yes.
Mary whomever created something straight out of slavery
Yeah.
after they were given their freedom. That's how we got to start thinking as well. This is a uh, we're like pioneers now. We get ready to go
Yes.
west, or
Yes.
east. We're going east on the other side of the Atlantic.
Yes.
All
So
right.
thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a pleasure. And we'll see you again next week, Friday from 3 to 4:30 here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. My co-host will have an amazing marketing flyer for you guys online so you can see what the show is going to be about next week, what we're going to cover. And you too can be a guest on this show, guys. If you want to be a guest on this show where you showcase your product, your services, you speak about your business to the world. And maybe some of those Caribbean entrepreneurs might be listening.
Oh, that
You
would be
know,
awesome. Yeah, if you guys
oh,
are
that
out
would be great.
there and are doing business in other countries,
Yeah.
we'd love to hear from you. So reach out to us. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Crystal Mitchell, and tell me you're interested, and we can make that happen
Yeah.
sooner than later. And so, in the meantime, before we actually leave, we'd love for you guys to go over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. And if this was of interest to you, oops, what happened to us? Okay, wait. Let me get us right here. Regular screen. Um, if this was of interest to you, please hit our like button and come out and visit us again. But if you hit this subscriber code, which is right here, if you hit that subscriber code, then you will actually get to go to our YouTube channel and hit our subscribe code and hit a like button. Place a comment there. That would be fantastic as well. We'd love to have you guys as part of our family. So with that, Gilbert, are you ready to rock us out of here?
Oh yeah. So guys, we'll see you again next week. And in the spirit of the Caribbean entrepreneurs, listen to some nice reggae music.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a